Ready. Fight.
Hey guys, it should be a relatively quick video today. I recently sold one of my modded Game Gears, and the guy that bought it basically said he also had another original Game Gear, um, and he needed that recapped as well. So I was like, oh yeah, send it over. Does it work? He said it does work. So, but he said the brightness isn't too great. So we'll just have a look now. Yeah, that's max contrast. It is pretty dull. We got a line coming too. That may... There you go, line's gone now. Right, so the sound's good. It's just a little bit dim. I mean, the original screens aren't that great anyway, as we all know. Let's just make sure the buttons are working. Left, right, down, up, A, B, push harder, and start. Lovely. So, I have already removed the screws, and surprisingly, what I found, and the owner didn't know about this either, it has been recapped, but very interesting tactics. There's very sticky tape here. If you can see, there's wires here holding the two 1UF caps. Ugh. I don't know why, because both of those, if I come in, both of those traces seem to be okay. Maybe the caps are too big to fit, I don't know. I'm going to try and do a different viewing angle today with the recording. Hopefully it works out, because what we're going to do with, obviously we're going to start with removing all the old caps first. The soundboard caps, however, I'll have a look at those, but the sound is fine, so I may just leave that. Power board looks like they've got the Netsuko original caps, so we'll need to do those as well. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just going to take this apart now and have a look. As you can see, someone's already cut part of this heat shield. Usually it comes over the soundboard, doesn't it? I mean, the solder jobs isn't too bad at all. I mean, I could replace them with SMDs, because the chap that I'm doing this for, he said he's had it for quite a few years now. So these electrolytic caps may be coming to the end of their life soon. So I'm going to take these two boards out now. Let's have a look at this power board. Is it Netsuko? There we go. Yeah. Netsuko, the original power board capacitors. The board overall looks decent shape. Maybe that's why the previous person that recapped it didn't change capacitors, but it's probably a good idea that we do that today. And then let's have a look at the soundboard. Let's try and find out what brand these are. There's no, usually it's like things like Rubicon, Jamicon, Panasonic. I can't see a brand. SU, sir? I don't know what SU is. SU, sir? Okay, fine. Because I don't know what brand these are, and I don't know if they're going to start leaking soon. I'm going to replace them with SMD capacitors as well. I'm going to move the shell for now to the other side. And then let's try and do this new setup for recording. We're going to start with the power board. Alright, so here we have the power board. I'm just going to whack this under the little scope that I actually got connected to my computer. So we're going to start with desoldering the biggest one, and then the second biggest one, and then the most tiny one. So you have to bear with me. I'm not used to recording as well as look at the camera and soldering. It's definitely a skill that I'm working on, because usually I just zoom in with my natural eyes. And so what I'm going to do initially is just flux these up, adding in some fresh solder. Hopefully then will like to be wicked away, or we can also use my solder sucker. So I'm just gonna bring this down a little bit. Right, gonna hold that there and let that feed in some new solder. Doesn't always like that, does it? There we go. It's bad I don't use leaded solder, so it does have a higher temperature of working. So what I can do here is once you've heated up the one, you can push from the other side, just gently. See if we can just wiggle it out. Wiggle, wiggle. There we go. So that's the first big cap out. We can do the same principle again now with the next cap, which is just this guy. I am looking to get a better scope because I think it'll make videos look quite cool and it'll make everything look a bit nicer. It's not a very good light currently, is it? Let's just... Is it too dark? Is that better? Or do we need more light? I think because of the flux, it's getting a bit... Yeah, I think we need a bit more light. Because of the flux, the angles are a bit odd. So we've just added some more solder here. Let's try and wiggle these guys out with you still being able to see. So as that heats back up, you can just pull out the cap, and that's the next cap out. And then same with the tiny one. Where is he? Those two. So just gonna add some more solder again. And don't worry about bridging it, obviously, because we're just going to wiggle it out. Wiggle, wiggle. Right, and that's the most tiniest one out now. Where's the camera? There. There it is. Right, so now what we're going to do, we have a couple of options. We can solder wick, or we can solder sucker. We'll try the wick for now, because I've already got it out. In theory, as we press here, it should just absorb straight into that wick. Oh, lovely. And then what we should get is a hole. Nope, doesn't like it. Let's try it again. Sometimes it just needs a bit more heat, a bit longer. There we go, and we got a hole. Whee, that's what she said. Right, so let's do the same process now for this one as well. Hopefully this video looks quite good. I don't know if it will. But leave feedback, leave comments on different ideas. I have been looking on AliExpress for different scopes. I'll wick this out and then I'll probably use the solder sucker, to be fair. Because I've had a lot of success with the solder sucker. It's very good, especially for through-hole caps like these. Adding fresh solder is good, but I think adding leaded solder is better. But I don't use leaded solder. Well, no, yeah, it's lead-free. Only because of the... don't want to have lead poisoning. Even though it's probably like low risk, isn't it? Right, so that's fine. Let me get my solder sucker as well. The question is, where is it? Alright, I found one. So let's try. So the aim of the game is just to hold it there, and then that was a fail. Again, it's hard to record this and do this. Right, take four. Maybe this is the bad one. Why is it all shaking now? Right, don't watch what I'm doing. Where's my wick back? It's flowing, so it should be fine to wick. Come on, wick. Oh, jeez, this is where solder gets a bit dry. That's not good, is it? There we go. Sometimes it can be through. Ooh, look at that. That is a decent amount of gunge there, isn't it? Sometimes we can just try and get the solder from this angle. Let's try again. The last thing you want to do is start wiggling and then lose the copper trace. See how that gone? Nearly. Sometimes as you reflow the hole, there's just going to be a thin layer of solder left there. Right, I'm going to skip ahead now because this is a bit boring. So today we are using the Retro 6 recap board, recap kit even. So we'll start with the biggest, which goes on the floor. Right. It goes into this one, but obviously first we need to clean up these pads. They're looking quite rough there. There we go. Sorry about that technical mishap there. So I got the new iron now. It's nice and shiny. Let's just see. Let's reflow some things. And that's our next challenge. Let's just cut these legs off now. Whilst we're also in here, let's just have a look at this DC jack as well. If there's any slight movement, which there isn't, I usually reflow the connections, and it looks like someone has already, I think. It's quite bulky. It's secured with that one, and that one. All looks pretty good, to be fair. Just give it a little bit of a brush. Let's have a look at this little guy again. That's definitely moving, isn't it? Both traces lifted. Not touching though, which is reassuring. I think just to keep them together, we'll just apply a tiny bit of resin. Just to make sure it's safe and doesn't move around. There you go, that's set. Nice. Alright, so that is the power board done currently. We had some mishaps with some trace damage there, but that's got some resin in now to protect it. The other caps are looking fine. We're just going to put this to one side for now, and we'll test it obviously later. Let's have a look at this other board, which is the soundboard. Oh, so I don't know what let's see if we can make this a bit clearer. This browny gunk, I'm guessing that's the burnt flux. I think I'm just going to remove these. Yes, that's what we thought, wasn't it? and then just clean the pads, and then let's get some flux on each one. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way going forward, because we didn't know the brand. That was the issue, wasn't it? We didn't know what brand they were, we don't know how old they are. I think that's just probably better overall, just to remove these bad boys. Well, it's basically going to be a full recap in the end, which is fine. Right, let's find some solder work. This should still be good. And let's try and work this one. Let's try and work this one. Try like that. The goal is as well not to melt any plastic when you're doing stuff like this, which is easier said than done sometimes. But I'm just gonna reheat the solder pads. Just have a look what's what. See if we're missing any. We don't seem to be. Alright, let's get a bit of IPA on there. Get the old cotton bud. I do enjoy these fixes, but they can be challenging. It's quite old technology to have extreme heats on it, and yeah, traces and pads can lift, which isn't ideal, is it? Alright, that seems okay. Let's just cut on the swab. Nice. Right, that's come up a bit cleaner, hasn't it? It's a bit nicer. So now what I need to find is 10 UF, no, 10 UF? I mean 100 UF capacitors, which are here. So use 5 of those for the soundboard, and then 5 for the main board. So sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. They look like little pills, don't they? Sometimes you'll have some left over, and then if you buy lots and lots of packs, eventually you can do a soundboard for free, because you'll have, like, I don't know, I think it's like 2 left over after each pack. So these are 100 UFs. They are very small. Let's just make sure this is nice and dry. Seems nice and dry currently, but still a bit shiny underneath there. Pads look clean, don't need to scrape away anything. Just gonna add some flux on each bit, and then we're gonna place the capacitors in. So 1, 2, 3. Well, I've only got 4 here. Oh, there he is. We got him. Tracked him down. Right, so trick with this one. I'm sure everyone's got their own methods, but I just get a bit of solder on my iron, and then hold the little tic tac, and then make contact with that and that. Now that's obviously holding there now. So I flip it. Same technique now, bit more solder this time. And just drag it away. Nice. Then go back and redo the other side. Nice. So that is clean. It'd be more shiny if I did use leaded solder. I don't use leaded solder. That's a sacrifice. I don't know, like older consoles, like there is leaded solder in these consoles. So it's not like I'm hiding from. I'm not scared of lead. I ain't scared. Let's just add a bit more in here. I'm just trying to look at the camera. I'm not at the game, at the actual soundboard, but it's really hard not to look there. It's definitely a skill, learning how to use the camera instead of looking yourself. Right, so we're in that corner now. Same again, tack it down. And those traces, these are more likely to tear. I don't know why that is. I think maybe it's just the capacitor that lives there. It's more prone. Let's just get a bit of an angle on this one. There's not usually much of a trace in this area. I think we could add a bit more in there. Nice, so that's okay. That looks like enough solder there. Let's go over this middle one. Yeah, the new iron is definitely behaving a bit better. Come to think of it, I did use that tip for quite a while. I'm yet to invest in a really expensive soldering iron. I mean, I do a lot of soldering, so I probably wouldn't know where to start if I'm honest, where to get a better iron. Oh, you see all the posher YouTubers, they have that yellow and blue solder station, and typically they don't have tips. Their solder is like, their soldering irons are like really like all one piece, which is I'm just still rocking with the tips at the moment. Nice. And last bit. Right, they're all soldered in now. Let's give it a bit of a freshen up. So here we are. I think it looks a little bit tidier. Yeah, I'll show you the actual camera. A little bit tidier, more space to play, and these capacitors are recommended by Luke, who obviously the owner of Retro 6. He's a very smart guy. I trust him with all my electronic queries. So that's that done. Power board done, and now we're going to move on to the main board. So with that camera, we can actually also look at, just tidy up. Yes, we can look at this madness of spaghetti. So yeah, this is, let me get my pointer. So usually we'd stick the 1 UF capacitors there and there. Sorry about the lighting again, it's not perfect, is it? So you must have used flux. The previous person that recapped this must have used flux that burned. It's got a lot of residue, doesn't it? It's not looking too bad on the screen, the camera. That was one of my fears. I noticed this is the original. Not sure why that wasn't replaced, but what I'm going to do is just get rid of all these old caps and give the board a clean, and then whack in the new caps and see where we are, and hopefully that brightness issue that we had will be sorted. So bear with me. Yeah, I still don't know. Maybe they were a genius, I don't know, with regards to this capacitor and the wires. I don't know. That's the thing, when you work on what other people have already worked on, you don't know what they've done. There could have been trace damage, or that was my fear. Like some of the pads were lifted, but it doesn't seem to be the case, to be honest. I'm just gonna go around and clean up these pads. Now, this gives us a good chance now to look for any trace damage. I mean, I haven't seen anything obvious so far. Those pads look good. These pads look good. The reassuring thing is this was working beforehand. The brightness wasn't great. That pad's looking a little bit mucky still, isn't it? That's okay though. The iron will burn that off. These pads are looking good. How are these pads looking? Looking good. Good. And then moving up. Looking quite good. And these two, that belong to the brightness of the screen. What I will do, I think, is I'm probably going to add in the bypass wires for any trace damage, because realistically there probably is some trace damage around. That's probably why we're having a poorer brightness, or it could be it may have been the old caps. Right, so we got the muck off there. There's a lot of original electrolytic fluid there, wasn't there? Fingers crossed. That's all good. I'm just going to check continuity with that negative pad. Because it seems okay. That's fine. I'm just double checking it hadn't been eaten through. So yeah, next we are now ready to wax some caps on. So now we need 4 10UF, which they all look like these tiny little tic tacs. Tic tac toe, tic tac toe. Move that out the way. Voltage. I love how that's where it's stopped. High voltage. Caution. I will stay on the caution bit. I think that fits well with my my video in general. Right, so 10 UFs. 2 go. One goes here. Let's just put some flux down. 1 goes here. And then the other 2. 1 goes behind the 100 UF here. And then 1 before the 100 UF. I can't see on the camera. Where is it? There. There. Right, so let's get those in. And we'll solder them in now. So we're all sorted. 2 seconds. Coming up videos will be revisiting that Pokemon Pocket, and also I've got a Game Gear screen to mod. So that's cool. Let's try and whack back on these caps. Same principle as the soundboard really. Tack it down first. Make sure it's got a good amount of surface area on that pad. Get the pad. Nice. And you know if it's not tacked down, because when you heat up the other side, it'll move. That's the that's the main thing there. Let's just do the other 10 UF now. Bit of a slight angle. Nothing too dramatic though. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's much more visually pleasing if it is pretty much bang on square. Or would I say rectangle? I suppose it's more of a rectangle, isn't it? A tic tac is not a square. They're not actually called tic tacs, by the way. I just think they look like tic tacs. I'm going to turn the board that way. And so we just whack this guy in quickly. Let me know if you like how I've recorded the video today. Nice. If you have liked it, I'll do more effort to record like this from now on. I think it's a bit nicer because you can see what I'm doing, or doing badly. I don't know. Nice. Things often do go wrong, to be fair, in retro repairs. Like, they're old. It's old everything, really. Right, let's get. It's 5, isn't it? 5 100 UFs out, just like the soundboard. Oh, let me put you back onto the high voltage bit. Oh, caution. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fingers crossed this sorts out the brightness. I mean, it should do in theory, because I think some of those caps may have been dying. I'm not sure. Not sure really. I'm just gonna flux where we're gonna put these 100 UFs. Last one goes there. So again, I'm going to. This time I'm going to get the 1 UFs out as well, because this is taking forever otherwise. Everything takes a little bit longer when you're recording. So, we're looking for the smallest capacitors now that's in this pack, and they are very small Tic Tacs. Or SMD capacitors. Just trying to get them out of the packet. You gotta be careful. If they go onto your carpet, you'll never ever find them again. That's like fact. Watch how small these are now. You'll never find these guys. These are one of the most enjoyable ones to install, if I'm honest. But then, yeah, compare them to the 100 UF. It's a decent size difference, and the 100 UFs are already small. Not as small as the 10 UFs, but you know, not much of a size difference, to be fair. Right, let's install the 1 UF first. Same principle. First now, because these are so small, you gotta just like draw them in a bit with the solder. Just gonna move them up a little bit. Nice. Look at that. Quite satisfying. And then we'll go for this side. Tiny bit more. Doesn't need much. Beautiful. And how's he looking? He's looking nice and secured there. I'm gonna move along to the other components that are also this orientation. Let's get this guy. I forgot about him in the corner. Oh, let's bring him down a little bit. Nice. The angle's just slightly wrong there with the camera and everything. That seems to be good. Yeah, we'll go over the bypass. Basically, you can put bypass wires in that they literally bypass trace damage if the screen is quite faint and things. So, because evidently these are quite old consoles and trace damage does occur, whether that be through electrolytic fluid, most likely, like burning or corrosion, Or battery corrosion even. That's nasty. You gotta say battery corrosion is probably the nastiest stuff that can go on. And it's pretty cool how it forms as well. It could be like waveforms sometimes. Alright, so that's that. And then the last one UF. Where are you? There you are. Let's get you in. And let's get you in there. That's fine. And then the far corner, very hard to record. Usually I tack down this bit first and then bring him over a bit. And then I whack my iron by here. Just go to town a little bit. Nice. Right, so that is that. Let's just give this a bit of a clean. Right, so I've just gone ahead and installed the bypass wires. Where are they on the camera? So that is two. Let me get my pointer. As to the top of this little tiny capacitor, all the way down to this leg on the D2, and then from C52, we've got it coming up all the way up to the top of C37, and this can. If post recap you've got a very faint image of Sonic, this can bypass trace damage and then give you a better quality image overall. So it's fairly tidy, not too bad. It still looks very wet on the board. I just think there's just a bit of IPA remnants. Let's just put this back together and see if it's working. Okay, a moment of truth. So, yeah, it probably would have made more sense if I tested it before putting the screws back in, but we're about to find out. Oh, sometimes it does that. It's okay. There we go. There we go. Hang on, hang on. Let's see what it's doing. Oh dear. Oh. I think it's brighter, slightly. Alright, let's just make sure this is working. Right, so max volume is good. So I've noticed sometimes with Game Gears, once you change over the power supply and all that, on the initial startup it's not happy. But we will double check this by doing this. And then, the battery? No, it's not going to be the batteries. Oops. Let's double check. Let's see if it does it with the power lead. If it does, the power board needs to be replaced, which is not good because there was damage after removing the capacitors. Let's try it. Yeah, it's the power board. There's no continuity between the two caps. Shit. Okay, well that's no good. It's all good. Let me have a look for a new one. Okay, so this one went a lot better. It's got all the holes all intact. So I'm just going to clean this up and install it into the Game Gear. Alright guys, it's all soldered in. Much better now. Make sure it's all on the right side, all negatives this side. Nice. Bit of an update, so with the new power board it's going off and on again. So whether there's a short on the board, let me have a quick look. Okay, I may be going a bit mad now, so I've tried 3 power boards now and they're all shutting off. So the main board isn't the issue because I've just tried my clean power power board and that's playing the Game Gear. So I don't know. Is it possible that I've got 3 faulty power boards in a row? Oh no. It's a weird one. Behold the mess of a madman. So I basically recapped 4 original power boards. None of them work with this Game Gear. And I'm just thinking that the Game Gear that we got obviously has been recapped already, and what else in this Game Gear could be like modded or so. I need to take it out of its shell and have a look at the main front board, just in case there's something else weird and wonderful. Right, let's take this out. So something I also forgot to mention is that the boards all work on other Game Gears, and also if I get my clean screen power and whack this on, it's not reading the game currently. 2 seconds. This Game Gear is acting quite interesting. See, there's a, what's that? There's a dead wire on this side. There's a bridge on this chip. Is that normal? I don't think I've ever seen that. I think Sonic may be a bit dirty, I'm not sure. Why is nothing working now? Let's just try a different game a sec. Terminator. What is going on now? We do have corrosion on the front of this Game Gear. Right, let's try and get the camera back out to play. Now, obviously we don't know the history of this Game Gear. What's down here? It just looks like flux, doesn't it? That's just tape though, isn't it? That's okay. Right, so let's go back to that corrosion that we saw. The corrosion up here. Corrosion, oh dear. The corrosion here, here. Oh, what happened to where's my camera gone? Come back, camera. Aha, right. Get back over a bit. Right. So, dear. Okay. I think let's start with just a clean on this side. Some IPA and salts. Just give it a bit of a freshener. So maybe it's the actual power pins. So I'm thinking that the updated power board probably fixes a lot of original issues and provides a lot more stable base for flow of current, I'm guessing. I mean, I'm just talking nonsense now, but we're missing. We got trace damage. Where is it? There. Are we actually missing? Where's my little? Just check some continuity. Dear, I thought this was going to be a quick video. This has turned out to be quite lengthy. Let's see if we've got continuity. Where does it end up? All the way down. Oh my god. Under the ribbon. That's great, isn't it? That's quite important to check though. So the board has actually, with that little scrub, we do have quite a bit of corrosion. No. Just because there's corrosion doesn't mean that it's definitely like. So that would be the. Still got. Let's have a look at these especially. And quite a lot of. Yeah, there's quite a lot of build-up corrosion on where the power gets fed into the board. I reckon we need to reflow those. Let me just sort out this camera a sec. Alright. The cable itself looks okay. I did inspect that before. These are looking a bit funky, so we're just going to reflow these. I mean, that may help, I don't know. Let's start with this one. But it's interesting that the Game Gear that I'm going to mod soon, because the screen is damaged, all four power boards that I've recapped all work on that board, which is good, obviously for me, but not good because we still haven't figured out what's wrong with this one. Right, so they're looking a bit better. Let's see if we can. Let's just double check the continuity of current, just continuity from those pins, which are now. There we go. Right, so here to here, here to here, here to here, there to there, there to there, there to. How does he go? I think all the way down there. Yeah. Yeah. Fine. So we've got continuity there. We're gonna make our way down. Obviously, this is a massive job if we're going to do trace damage repair. Let's have a little look, and we've got more stuff on this side. So let's just give this another clean. IPA, toothbrush. Right, let's have a look at these traces. So less corrosion on this side, really. Still some corrosion around. VRAM. Well, it was never a VRAM issue. There's no like weird squares. I've never seen that bridged before. Let's just compare it to another Game Gear that I've got. I think I've got a few lying around. So this IC, is not bridged. Let's get a focus. Unless it is. There is a connection there, isn't it? I'll just double check. That's meant to be bridged. Let's get my continuity out. Continuity. Just checking now. There is continuity in between the middle pins. Fine. So now we know that. That's helpful. So that's supposed to be like that. We take the screen out, that's the question. So I'm guessing it's still a bulb back there. Because I was thinking, what other crazy stuff has that person done? Because if they did the wires with the capacitors, I don't know if they thought of something else wacky. But let's see if it's working still. Right, so it is still working there. Not booting the game now though. Where the cart slot? Is there anything in the cart slot? Possibly some corrosion. Can't really see anything in there. Especially with my useless things. I'm just going to give that a bit of a clean. I don't know what we did, but it is currently playing, and it's playing on the original screen, with the original power board. Was it possibly causing like a short? I mean, corrosion can cause shorts. Good gracious, we got it! Wow. Let's see if it still works when we put it back together. Haha. So I also, oh my god, I can't see anything. Right, there's the camera. I reflowed the contrast wheel, on the other side as well. So that's a lot cleaner now, although you can really see. I've tidied up the board in general, cleaned more things. There may have been some bridging corrosion, I'm not sure, but let's just try and get this back together. This has been a very long video. I found though, without the game inserted, it turns on. So whether there's corrosion I can't see, that's like making a bridge and shorting the system, I don't know. But yeah, it seems to be working with the original power board now, without a game inserted.
Ready. Fight.